started here. Okay, so let's talk about the program execution environment. So when you're running within the shell, and actually by extension of the programs that you started from the shell, there are certain types of variables that are available to that shell, but also to other running programs. And these are called environment variables. Now, you need to distinguish in your mind the general notion of a variable, okay, which could be used in the shell, into two different types. One is environment variables, which can be used, modified by many, many different things running on the same computer at the same time. Many shells, for example, or many other programs running on that computer, versus a shell variable or a local variable. So I'll call it a local variable. So this is a variable that your particular shell, you ask it to set this to this value. A local variable, and nothing aside from your shell knows about this. Nothing aside from what you're running right now is going to know about this. And other things you're running on the same computer won't know. Environment variables will be known. And there's different ways of addressing these in different systems, okay? And to make it confusing, there's, in different shells, you set these in different ways. You could say set n in some shells, and others you say set or what have you. So there's different ways of addressing this. But these environment variables include things like home path and term. And those things are defined there. So home is your home directory. When you log in, that's where you go. That's your location when you log in. So when I logged in, it put me in a location called /faculty/MDO. You folks would probably be in /student, at least if you're logging in TuxWorld /student/ whatever your NCID is, ABC 1, 2, 3. That's sort of where you are. This slash means you're sort of, that's located in the very top of things, and you're located in this location within the general student location, which has something like 14 or 1,500 different subfolders. There's another one called path. What does path give you? Yeah, it tells you where to look when you say something like LS, or when you say something like CP, or when you say something like CAT, or when you say something like ARMD, or what have you. Where does it look to do that? That may sound obvious. Well, it should all go look in the same place, but that's not. Maybe you're starting a program that you create. Maybe you're starting a program that someone downloaded for you. Maybe you're starting a program that you bought. These things might be located in different places in path. In order to know where to go, to look for these things, it needs to be told sort of where to look. So path lists a bunch of directories that are where to look. Okay. So if you're going to go in here, and I'll go into bash here, you'll notice that here we have a set of variables defined, and here's an environment variable called path, and it's giving me a list of directories. Okay? So it's saying, okay, so can anyone tell me how to read this? Okay, good. Right. So it's a first go look in /bin. So if I type something like CP, hiding a little bit of things, there's a thing called alias, which will actually list alias, maybe CP is defined as something else. But putting that aside, it's going to look first, it's going to say, where do I look for this? Well, first I go look in bin. Is it there? No, it's not there. Then I go look in /usage/bin. Is it there? No, it's not there. Now I look in /usage/r1106/bin. Is it there? And then way at the end, there's a dot. What does that dot mean? Is that a full stop end of definition? It's a current folder. Wherever you are right now, wherever you are, meaning what's your
location from which, say, I reported this. And if I want to see that, what can I type? If I want to see my current location, PWD, my present working directory. Okay, and you can see that's where I am. I'm in this subfolder that I created from there. And if I do CD, I can do this, and I'll see I'm no longer there. I'm one directory up. I went from being here to being down here, and then I went one folder up. So, you know, it's like going from being in this room to being in this cabinet in the room, which I'm sure you folks would love to see me get into. But I can probably fit too. Look pretty cozy in there. But I'll in the interest of time, I'll skip that demonstration. So here we've gone from being in this location here, sort of being in this compartment, to being just in the room itself, and I could go out of the room and I'd be in the broader university, etc. And I could leave Saskatoon. Okay, so path tells where to find things in these directories. And so if I were to try to invoke a command here, CP or something like that, and it's complaining because I didn't tell what to copy, where it's looking for CP will be different if depending on what folder I'm in. If I'm in 214 and I say CP, it's going to look in 214 at the end of it. Why? Because of that thing with the path up here that we saw. Here we go. Come on. It is right here. Because of this dot, if I'm currently in 214 here, if my current location is 214, then it's going to be looking for that CP in 214. If my current location is up here, it's going to be looking up there. Okay, that's why that dot is there. Okay, and then there's term, which is the output device, which is useful if you know in other cases. So I could go print one of those. Instead of going and doing set there, one thing I could have done is I could have done echo path, and this will tell me that path. It will tell me what's in there. So here we're telling it print out, hence echo, the variable called path. That was one of those variables listed here earlier, but I can just say echo path, okay? So that allows me to set it. And then there's some built-in mechanisms for manipulating these as well. Okay, so in some shells, you'll need to export an environment variable to explicitly say export this, to set it, for example, in a way that everything else will know about it. In other words, it's an environment variable. So you can say export the name of the environment variable equals the value, and the value will persist and will be seen by different shells. Okay, be seen by many shells I'm running. Okay, so we saw this. Okay, so some useful directories, places that look. /bin is a good one. There's a minimal set of commands that are there. /user /bin is a much larger set of commands that provide most of the ones you'll be using day to day that are provided with Linux. And then there can be ones specific to so-called Windows and sort of local versions that you may want to, that may be different in some way. They want to provide different versions of them on a particular computer. On TuxWorld, as it notes, the X Windows programs are actually in user bin. Now, if you want to locate a command, where is a command located? There's two options. You can say which, or you can say where is. So if I want to see where is the CP that's executing, where is it looking for that? After all, it could be anywhere within this path that it's finding it. It's finding it in one of these places. Well, there's two ways to do that. I could use this first option, which is which, or I could use where is, okay? So I could say which CP, and it tells me this is the one that's being used. This is the particular one that's being used. So it actually found it in the very first part of the path. Note if there had been a CP located in another one, like in user bin, it still would have just chosen the one at the very first. If I want to say where is CP, it's going to be different, because it's going to actually find it in several different places. It's going to find it first inside bin, and then it's going to find it inside user bin. Now, you'll notice that it's using, when I said which, it's actually using the first of these, because that was the one that had higher precedence, as we said. It came first in that path. It's the one that's preferred. It's the one that's identified first and chosen. It's selected because it occurs earlier in this path. Here's /bin first, and so it's using that one. Does that make sense, people? Okay. So these are very useful things. Sometimes you don't know where this command is executed. You type something in, you get some whacked out thing. And you don't know where that's executed. Use which or use where it is. You could see which if you just want to know which is the particular one that's doing this whacked out thing. Where is, well, where are other versions of it, etc. Okay, now, we're now going to get into this issue of redirection. And I am going to nuggetize this, pardon me for just a second.